Well, here in Germany, officials are warning of a rise in far-right extremism. Police recorded more than 23,000 far-right crimes in the year 2020. That's a 5% increase on the previous year and a record high. The new statistics were published on the same day that police arrested a suspected neo-Nazi accused of sending threats and hate mail to politicians and public figures.
He's accused of sending more than 100 threatening letters, signed NSU 2.0, in reference to a right-wing terror group. His letters went out to politicians, artists and lawyers. It's unclear if the 53-year-old man acted alone. What is clear, however, is that the man espoused unmistakable right-wing extremist ideology. According to authorities, it's part of a dangerous trend in Germany. Politically motivated crimes have reached their highest levels in 20 years, and Interior Minister Horst Seehofer is now raising the alarm. Right-wing motivations were behind 23,064 of the crimes committed last year. That's more than half, 52% of all politically motivated crimes. An increase of 5.7%. I want to be clear here. The number of right-wing motivated crimes has reached the highest level since we began keeping records. One example, last year, a man sought out various locations in the city of Hanau, looking for people with non-German heritage. He murdered 9 people. Shortly after that, the global coronavirus pandemic arrived in Germany. But restrictions on public life did nothing to decrease the number of right-wing attacks. Quite the opposite. Right-wing extremists began taking part in demonstrations against lockdown measures. It's a development that worries experts. During the pandemic, we've seen an ugly normalization of anti-Semitic crimes and racism that threatens our collective society and the participation of those who are attacked. Once certain lines are crossed, there's no going back. Authorities doubt that the situation will improve this year, and they're pushing to broaden their fight against right-wing crimes.
So why does Germany have such a problem with right-wing violence? Here's DW's chief political editor, Michaela Kuffner.
Well, I have to warn you, I didn't have a satisfying answer to that, because that is very much the uphill task that we saw Interior Minister Horst Seehofer spread out today, as he stressed that there was not only this jump, that right-wing extremist violence plays a role in more than half of all cases of politically motivated violence here in Germany. He spoke of a brutalization of society. I guess the short answer is that Germany's dark Nazi past has not changed history for good, in the sense that neo-Nazis can't get a foot on the ground anymore and can't get a political foothold. One has to say, though, this came on the day as it became known that the leader of the youth organization of the far-right AfD party, which sits in parliament here in Germany, had to leave the party after concerns over extremist right-wing remarks he made before. So clearly this is something that's coming from different directions in society, and we will have to wait and see what politicians deduct, what the political response to that will have to be.
Well, for more now, I want to bring in Caro Keller of the NSU Watch. That's an NGO monitoring right-wing extremist groups here in Germany. It's good to have you on the program. Far-right crimes at a record high in Germany. Why is Germany seeing this surge in extremist violence? Do we know?
Yes, thank you for having me. There are lots of reasons why Germany has this problem. One of the reasons is that right-wing ideologies such as racism and anti-Semitism are widely spread through society. So the perpetrators find themselves in an environment where everything they want is normal and normalized, like we heard before. And from there, they take the courage to go through with the violence. And also another problem is that this problem actually is played down. So Yeah, the
What do you mean play
authorities are
down?
talking of lone wolves, and we have to see structures.
What do you mean the crimes are played down? How so?
Yeah, the authorities always say, okay, when something happens, the perpetrator, he was a lone wolf and he didn't have any networks, he didn't have any structures, and this is mostly wrong. The perpetrators always have an environment where they find themselves between like-minded people, and this gives them the courage. And so it's played down, and everybody looks to the so-called lone wolves, and nobody is really talking about the structural problem.
Yeah, well, talk to me a little bit, if you could, about who these people are. Do we know where they come from, what they do? I mean, the people who commit these crimes.
Yes, the spectrum of these people actually widened in the last years, which is really worries us a lot. Of course, we got like traditional neo-Nazis doing these crimes, but we also got people who we didn't know before as neo-Nazis, who got radicalized by demonstrations such as the demonstrations against the corona virus things that government does. And also we got police officers and soldiers playing parts in these groups. So it's really a wide spectrum, and it is really dangerous because we know they got the ideology and also they got the weapons.
We heard today from the country's Interior Minister Horst Seehofer saying that right-wing extremism now is the biggest threat to Germany's security. I mean, that is quite a statement for a member of the government to make. Do you expect that to change the way that the country is policed?
Yeah, we always hear these statements, but we don't see the right measurements taken after these statements. For example, the authorities, they have to take weapons away from known neo-Nazis. There are even statistics in Germany how many known neo-Nazis got weapons, and nobody takes them away from them. And also, like I said, we have to stop talking about lone wolves and have to see neo-Nazi and right-wing networks, and they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped from working as networks and structures. And after that, maybe the problem will be smaller, but only statements is not enough. We have to see measurements after that.
Carol Keller with NFG Watch. We appreciate your time and your insights tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.